producer, photographer, director, and this amazing project that is premiering in Hollywood this weekend, Chinese Theater, about a subject that has turned Hollywood inside out from just a lethal culture that has been going on forever. So you talk about the project and its very impactful theme.
It is called You're So Beautiful. It is a film that really speaks to the progression of domestic violence in a relationship. You know, how it can go from such an amazingly beautiful relationship where this man or woman makes you feel beautiful, you know? And I got that inspiration and idea from my past. I was in an abusive relationship for 6 years, and it really took a toll on me when I was going through it, you know? And I wanted so badly to do something to shed awareness on, you know, this idea of abuse. And I just didn't know how I was gonna do it. For maybe 2-3 years, I was like, I need to do something, I need to do something. Every October would pass by, because that's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'm like, I need to do something. What am I going to do? So last year, in September, one morning, I just was like, I need to do something, you know? And I looked at my list of film ideas that I had, and domestic violence was on there. And it's like when I read it, it's like God was like, boom, he gave me the download, and I just started writing, and I came up with a short film right then and there. And I had like my dream cast, Dakia Anderson and Borge Etienne. Yeah. They're amazing, amazing. They literally brought my vision to life. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And how were you able to assemble your cast, not having big budgets and, you know, credits behind you? What was that challenge like?
Well, I knew both Dakia and Borge. I knew Borge actually from college, and then Dakia I met through a close friend. So it was like God was placing these people, you know, in front of me. And I reached out to them because of the message and just the connection that we both shared. They were all on board.
So it was relationships you already had and nurtured. Yes. It wasn't anything, you know, a typical casting and things like that. Relationships that were already in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. And you mentioned that you were in this relationship for 6 years. That's a long time.
It was a long time.
That's a lot of your life invested.
Oh, it was.
What was the turning point for you to say enough is enough? What was that time, moment, situation where, because obviously, like I said, after your mindset goes through that over and over again, you get stuck.
Yeah.
What pushed you through?
So it's interesting, in the film, I kind of play on the fact that we are in these high moments with this partner that we're with, and then it's like random moments of abuse. It's not every day. Like, I think a lot of people, especially myself, I didn't think I was being abused because it wasn't every day. It might not have even been every week, but it was like random moments that it did happen. And one moment is never okay. You know what I'm saying? So for me, after these 6 years, we actually got married at the 6-year mark, and 2 months after the marriage, or into the marriage I should say, there was a moment where he was being abusive to me, and I really do feel like God told me for the first time, look directly into his eyes as he was doing it. I looked into his eyes, and it was like there was nothing there. It was like lifeless. Like, this wasn't nothing to him, you know? And I was like, oh, wow. And I called my dad. I hadn't told anybody in my family. Mm-hmm. And I knew calling my dad.
You know.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm a daddy's girl too. So as soon as you said your dad right now, I was like,
yeah.
You called
I'm a daddy's girl too. Yeah. And as soon as I knew, as soon as I dialed his number, it was a wrap. So yeah. That's what got me out of it, is me looking into his eyes and just seeing like there was no emotion there.
Was there ever a moment, Jessica, Lynn Diaz, was there ever a moment where you thought, maybe it'll get better? Maybe if I just, maybe do this, or maybe if I do that, and I will marry and it'll get better.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I had plenty of moments like
okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
We went to therapy. We obviously got married. I thought that was for some reason gonna
Absolutely.
change
And
something.
most
A lot of people think
Absolutely.
that, and
Absolutely.
it just makes it even worse, honestly. Because as soon as that happened, I felt like he believed that I was now his property. It won't get better, unfortunately. You know, you think it will, and it just won't. You have to separate yourself from that environment, not just for your health and safety, but also for their health and safety.
There's somebody sitting watching us right now, listening to this tomorrow, a month from now, 6 months from now, that it will save a life. So thank you for that. Actually, there is Donna in Baltimore already who has a comment to you, Jessica Lynn Diaz. What was the darkest or the most painful for you to direct during this project? What was the most challenging part filming this?
As far as the domestic violence aspect of it, I would say kind of reliving those moments. You know, I don't want to give anything away, but you know, one of the last scenes, even though I had been through a lot of different moments with my ex, that was one moment that really like shook me. So directing that particular scene was definitely a lot, you know. As a filmmaker, one of the most difficult aspects of filming this was probably just getting everybody's schedules to align.
Okay.
Because we're all working actors and directors and, you know, everything out here. You do it all out here, you know. So just getting all of our schedules to align, because there was 13 different scenes that we shot. In like all different locations. So just getting all of our schedules to align was probably like the hardest part. Yeah. But it all worked out.
It all worked
It all
out.
worked out.
And it always does.
Yes, it does. I can actually say I experienced firsthand people not believing me. It was definitely one of the worst feelings. You know, I finally had the braveness to come out and say something, and I had a lot of close friends that did not believe me. Wow, I was...
Why would you make up something like that is your underlying question.
And it was just, I can understand somebody not believing because of X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But what I've learned and what got me through it is God. I am so thankful that I went through this because I got so close to God when I got out of it. I was reading the Bible like all the time, just different passages, quotes, and what I really learned is it's faith over facts. You know what I'm saying?
Every time.
Every time.
Every
Faith over facts. Hashtag that.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's like, why would you get married if you were being abused? Why would you? And it's like, you don't know what I was going through. You weren't inside of my mind.
Right.
God told me to get married because he wanted me to go through that so that I can help you out. You know? So I understand the facts might not all make sense to people, but you just have to understand that your faith is so much bigger and you can get out of anything that you feel stuck in because you're not actually stuck.
Absolutely. What comes to mind as you were sharing that is the spirit of leadership versus the leadership spirit. You have the spirit of leadership. Okay. All right. So, and I'll explain that. You're looking at me like,
I was like, I need more.
As a teaser. Just, you knew, I gotta go through this. He's allowing it to happen, okay? But I'm not doing it just for me. That's what leaders do. They go into uncharted waters, charted waters that look like, oh my God, what am I doing here? But people who have a leadership spirit, they'll deploy or send. They don't necessarily go because their mindset is, I'm going to rule over that person instead of that situation.
Yeah.
So that's what you have. You have the spirit of leadership. So you'll always win because that is who you are.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So thank you for going through that. Seriously.
Living, I mean, just several more premieres. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Outside of this weekend. Absolutely.
So I feel like when God told me to move back, to California, Cali, I just had this vision of a platform, and I didn't know where it was. I dreamed someday that it'll be at the Oscars, acceptance speech. Before that, though, I dream for a following so that I can give them what God gave me, that wisdom, and I'm always down to help the next queen, the next king. We are all queens and kings. If you did not know, you are royalty. Know your worth. You are worthy. And I'm always down to help. So if there's a speaking engagement or wherever I can show the film at, the point in doing the film was to inspire and help those that don't really even realize that they're being abused. Because, like I said, it's like, if it happens every once in a while, you're like, well, it was good for the past 3 months. He just had or she just had a slip up. But no, it's not okay.
I'm so glad you say that because that's exactly what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially in the world that we're living in, social media, the hype, you're like, just have to, or it only happens when you drink. So I'm glad that you disclose that it happened when we're drinking and not, and that abuse has so many levels and layers and masks,
It can be very difficult, for sure. For me, I honestly felt like I was alone because my mom and sister had just moved back to California, and I was in a city in Florida, kind of like further away from the friends that I grew up with. So I really felt like I was all alone. But I feel like God wanted me to be alone because then I opened the book.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the title, You're So Beautiful, why that, and what do you want the viewer to walk away feeling?
So the title is because, like I said, from my past relationship, I felt like I stayed in it so much because he was one of the first people to make me feel beautiful. So every time he would abuse me, it was like, the next day or two, it was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're so beautiful, It's like, oh, well, he makes me feel beautiful. And like, nobody else really has made me feel this way. So that's where the title came from. And what I want people to walk away with is just the knowledge of understanding that every once in a while is too many times. One time is too many times.
Thank you.
So, and then just being vulnerable and able to have these types of conversations.
Absolutely.
Because it's not happening enough.
It's not.
Which is why I feel like I allowed it to happen to me. Because it wasn't being talked about constantly. And you know what? One of the biggest reasons why I really wanted to do this type of film and continue to do these types of films is as soon as I came out about it, I had DMs text messages, phone calls from so many women.
Wow.
I got goosebumps. They reached out to me. Like, I've been through this too, or I'm going through this now. How can I get out? And it's like you were saying, there's women at the bar that are just smiling, and that was me. I was smiling and happy as ever,
Yeah.
but I was really broken.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's so many people are going through it, and either they don't recognize the extent of it, or they're just too scared to get out of it. So this is for them.
Amazing. But see,
Yeah.
that's the kingdom, that's the ministry.
Wow. How can they get more of you, get more information, see what you're doing and
Sure.
how they can support?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram page is at Jessica Lynn Diaz, my full name. That's Jessica LYNN-DIAZ. My photography page, I do photography. I love it. Yes. That is at JLD Creates. And then the short film, I did a Instagram page for that, and it's You're So Beautiful _film. So that's where you can find me.
Wow.
The You're So Beautiful tour.
Isn't that beautiful?
Ooh.
Isn't that? I know, right? I told you. You thought I was just kidding.